it's Katie with String Expert. Today I'm working on Hark, the Herald, the Angels Sing. Let me play it for you and then we're going to work on part 3. So as you can hear, this is a beautiful piece filled with a lot of dynamic and a lot of build towards the end where it's an incredible finish, if you want my opinion. Now to start off with, the first thing that we really need to focus on with this piece is having long, smooth legato bows. So you really want to picture yourself starting down at the frog and just having one smooth motion for each note. So it needs to be long and smooth. It's almost like your bow just glides on top of the string as you're playing this piece. If you sort of try and force the issue or push too hard, then you're going to create a squeaky sound and it's not going to sound very good. So what I like to do when I'm trying to make a long fluid motion is I think about my two fingers. This finger here and this finger here, my thumb that's curved around into a C, are the primarily point that I use for all legato bowing. My pointer and my pinky finger do nothing but sort of move with the motion of the bow. And then as I'm going up the bow, my fingers are going to sort of go up in this gliding motion, and then I'm going to rotate them and go back down as I go back down the string. So I really want to focus on that long, smooth motion. Now, when I start off in the beginning, I start off playing a little bit quieter because I want the piece to have some movement and some build. So you want to think about, too, having small phrases within your dynamics. So we're going to start out with a mezzo forte, and then we're going to kind of swell up and swell down a little bit in order to kind of make some different sounds to make the piece sound interesting. So let's start from the beginning, and you'll have to kind of experiment and see what works for you. For me, I primarily focus on the beginning of having just a super quiet, smooth sound. Now here, I think it gets very dramatic very quickly. So I add a little bit of pressure and a little bit of weight in order to give it a much more dramatic sound. Then I taper off to get nice and smooth and quiet as I move down the line. And I do the same thing with the next phrase, which is nearly identical to the first one. Now here is where we have a dramatic, exciting finish to the end. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with a really loud forte for these next two measures. I want to have this big, dramatic, wake up, pay attention, we're at the swell or the most important part of the song. Now, the next part is the same two measures, but it's an echo. So we're going to repeat the same two measures, we're just going to play them very, very quietly. So what I'm going to do, instead of using all of my bow like this for the forte, I'm going to curve my bow around and use just a little bit of bow hair for the piano. So let me play the two so you can kind of hear the difference. forte, and I want to be really loud for the grand finale. Now I'm going to taper off and get just a little bit quieter for the end. Now, one thing that I really caution you about is really taking time to just let your brain be free to sort of explore. We sort of get into all the technical details about playing the violin, which are really important, like holding your bow correctly, holding your arm correctly, moving your hand in the right motion, being smooth, and all these things are really important. But at the end of the day, what I like to do is just clear my mind of all of my thoughts, and it's more like a meditative focus on the music. And all I do is just get lost in the music. Don't think about anything else. Let all of my problems go away. And I just focus on creating this amazing, beautiful sound. And that's what I would recommend you doing. Now, what you can also do too, if you're worried about practicing, freeing your mind, and making mistakes and sounding bad, you can record yourself while you practice. This is what I do all the time. So I record myself as I play the piece, and then I play it back and I say, oh, okay, this was good, this was bad. It just allows me to give myself a good objectable opinion of how I'm playing. Because sometimes when we're playing, we'll sort of think like, oh, this section wasn't very good. But then when you hear it back in the recording, you're like, oh, that section was actually really good. It was the section afterwards that wasn't great. And so it allows you to kind of learn from your mistakes and get better at them. So thank you so much for watching. I'm so excited that you're being a part of this course, and we'll see you next time at stringexpert.com.